everybody, welcome back to the channel. I know it's been a really long time since I uploaded a video, but I've been super busy. I didn't mean to leave you guys hanging. Life just sometimes gets in the way, right? But I am back and I've got a great haul for you guys today. I have picked up some things over the past few months that I've been really interested in, and not just in a sense of like, oh, I'd like to see that movie, but also in a sense of like, I'd like to have that movie for my collection. I'm trying really hard to get rid of movies that I don't want and only bring in things that I do want to keep. So it's been a lot. It has been an ordeal. I have a whole stack of movies over there on the floor that I plan on either pawning off on a friend or just taking to Goodwill and getting rid of, because it's really important to only have movies in your collection that you really want to keep. There's no point in like having movies that you're, to me, there's no point in having movies that you're not going to watch or that you're not interested in, because then it's just kind of like, is it collecting or hoarding? And I don't want to hoard any more stuff than I already do. So I'm really trying hard to just keep the things that I like and make sure that everything that I have is something that I would watch again. Okay, so with all of that said, let's take a look at everything that I've gotten in over the past couple of months. So let's start off with a couple of documentaries. Everybody who knows me knows that Back to the Future is one of my favorite franchises of all time, and quite possibly my absolute favorite franchise of all time. So I was very happy to pick up a copy of Out of Time. It's actually Out of Time. So this is about the restoration of the DeLorean that was used in the Back to the Future series. There were actually 3 DeLoreans used, and this is a documentary that takes you through the restoration process of the documentary that was parked out at Universal Studios, and the entire process from starting to realize that the car actually needed some work to then assembling that team to get that work done. And this was a fantastic watch. You could feel the stress in all of the participants to get this car finished before they were out of time. I know, that was cheesy. I'm sorry. I had to do it. All right, next. Room 237. This is a documentary on the film The Shining. And admittedly, I thought this would be entirely different than what it ended up being. It's a lot of people's perspectives of what you know, it just wasn't what I thought it would be. It's a lot of people's perspectives on what they thought Stanley Kubrick was attempting to do with the movie The Shining, or what the underlying message was, or just a bunch of stuff. Honestly, I'm not entirely sure that this is something that I am going to keep in my collection. It was a good watch the first time around. I might give it a second try to see if I enjoy it more, or if it's something that I put over in the Goodwill pile. What else do we have? I got a lot of stuff. Oh, let's do these. Okay. This one is called Sorrowful Jones, and it stars Bob Hope and Lucille Ball. Lucille Ball is one of my favorite actresses of all time, so I was very glad to be able to get this in. It was during the Kino Lorber sale that they had recently, and I had never seen this one before, so I was very grateful to get this one in. Lucy is not like super funny in this one, and that's kind of partly why I enjoyed it. It's nice to see her play a kind of tamer version of herself. So I really did enjoy this one. This one, it was cute. It was a very cute movie, Sorrowful Jones. I know, you're like, you're just chucking them on the floor? How can you just chuck them on the floor? All right. The Whale. This is directed by Darren Aronofsky, who is one of my favorite directors. I did not see this when it was super hyped up. I didn't see this when Brendan Fraser won, yes, Brendan Fraser won his Academy Award. I didn't see this until super recently, like when I bought it. So it was great though. I almost cried, which is quite a feat for me. If you can make me almost cry, you're doing something right. This movie is such a tearjerker. It's very heartfelt, and it's a great movie. I understand why it picked up the awards that it did. So next we have Past Lives, and this is the story of two people who were kind of separated by time and space. They knew each other when they were kids, and then they reconnect again online, and it's kind of a will they, won't they, will they, won't they, will they, won't they. And I'm not going to spoil it for you. I'm not going to tell you if they did or didn't or didn't or did, but it's a great movie, and it had my attention the entire time. Very simple movie, but it's very engaging, and it's something that, you know, we've all kind of been there. We've all been there in that will we, won't we, should we, shouldn't we, whatever type of situation. So this was really great, but it was even better to see how they did this over the course of their lives. Like, these two people, I am convinced, are still made for each other. So Past Lives. This was great writing. I don't know who wrote the script on this, but this was great writing. We also have the original Color Purple. Now, admittedly, I did have a copy of this already on DVD, but I wanted to pick up the 4K with the slipcover because I thought the image on the slipcover of Whoopi Goldberg was just so astounding to me. Like, it's just so captivating with the light shining on her face and the way she's gazing off into the distance. So I wanted to pick this up purely for the slipcover entirely. But I did enjoy the 4K restoration. It does look heaps and bounds better than the DVD did. And I don't know if this got a Blu-ray release, and if it did, I never picked it up. But I really enjoyed watching this again. It had been quite some time since I had seen it, and I just saw the new musical recently, so I wanted to give this another watch. And this movie it never disappoints. It is so good. If you've never seen the original Color Purple, please go watch it. So this one is Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio. I love Guillermo del Toro movies. And so this was one that I absolutely had to have. I did not watch it when it was on Netflix or whatever, just because I never got the time. And it might still be there. I don't know. But I definitely wanted to pick up the 4K, and it's a Criterion, and it is great. This looks so good. It doesn't, of course, follow the Disney story because that's not the real Pinocchio, but this looks fantastic. So if you have a chance to either watch this on Netflix or whatever it was streaming on, or to pick up this Criterion, please do, because it looks so good, and the story is great. And it's so captivating and heartfelt, and the characters are wonderful, and there's a lot more thought put into this rendition of Pinocchio, I think, than there has been in a lot of others. And I've watched lots of other Pinocchios, even a cartoon Pinocchio in Dutch that I don't think anybody knows anything about. But this was great. This was great. Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio. What else do we have? Oh, okay. I just picked up one of my favorite action movies as well, because I saw Bullet Train in the theaters when it first came out, and There's not a lot of action movies that like grip me to the point where I'm like, oh man, I gotta watch that again immediately. But this was one of them. I don't know what it was about Tangerine and Lemon, but they just had me. This movie was great for me. I loved it. The action is great. The little bit of mystery is great. The thriller is great. It's all great. It's all packed into a train. It is a fantastic watch. You will not be disappointed with Bullet Train if you have not seen it. Even if you're not a fan of any of these actors for who they are as people, please, please, please give Bullet Train a watch. It is a non-stop action flick from beginning to end. It's great. Oh. Next, I have The Creator. And I did see this in theaters because I wanted to see this on the big screen. Sometimes there's just certain movies that you need to see big. So I saw this one big. I think this movie is super slept on. What they were able to accomplish in this movie with the budget that they had is just phenomenal. I don't know what type of, like, I'm like, man, this special effects agency is just blowing people out of the water. This movie did not get enough recognition. I would love it if more people were able to say that they saw The Creator, because there are so many existential questions asked in this movie that I don't think we ask enough. And I think we all need to just take a minute, decompress, and stop and think about what we're doing here on Earth. I know that sounds super deep when you're like, it's a movie about AI robots. No. It's more than that. Please give The Creator a watch if you haven't. What else did we get? So here's what we got. We got Aliens, which is Alien 2, technically. The James Cameron 4Ks. We also got The Abyss, as well as True Lies. Now, I know, there was a lot of controversy when it came to these three movies. Like, people were like, they look awful. They look wonderful. Oh my goodness, this is so bad. I don't know why James Cameron keeps doing this. Just watch the movies and enjoy them. If they look great to you, great. That's your opinion. If they don't look great to you, that's your opinion too. Just move on. There was just so much infighting about these three films that I just could not take it. It took me a while to even watch them based on the fact that everyone was arguing about them. I know, I'm on my soapbox. Just bear with me. I thought this one looked a little, I'm going to tell you, a little too smoothed out. That was just my opinion on True Lies. But you know what? If that's what Cameron wanted it to look like, if he wanted it to look like whatever, that's his choice as a director who is doing the restoration. So I also thought Aliens looked a little wonky to me too. I don't know. The Abyss looked pretty good. There were some spots where I was like, meh. With this one, it was more the CGI not holding up so much for me. But Aliens did look good. I thought the color grading was pretty good on this one. And I guess out of the three, I would say this one looks the best. But again, that's my opinion. You can have your own opinion, and I won't be mad at you for it. That's how the world works. Everybody feels how they feel about something. So I picked up the Cameron 3. I also picked up the Kindergarten Cop restoration. I think this movie looks fantastic. This is one of my favorite Schwarzenegger comedies. I think Schwarzenegger is a comedic genius. No, I won't go that far. He's got really good comedic timing, and I think people sleep on his jokes a lot. Like, I don't know. I think it's the accent. Is it the accent that's throwing you off as to why you guys don't always think he's funny? I think he's hilarious. I don't know. But that's just me. Kindergarten Cop, everybody's seen it. Everybody loves it. Pick up the 4K if you haven't. Next, I have the Expendables 4 film steelbook. This was great. I got this at Walmart, and it's generally like 70 bucks. And for some reason, it had like a clearance sticker slapped on it, and it said $34.99. So I was like, oh, okay, I'm just going to get that for $34.99. And it was the only one that was marked this way. And I go in the Walmart now, and they're still marked 70 bucks. So I don't know what the error was, but I'm going to be grateful for it because it enabled me to pick up this wonderful steelbook. This is a fantastic steelbook for 34 bucks. The only thing, I do have some complaints. I don't like that the discs are stacked inside. Like there's 4 separate films here. And all of the discs, if I can get them apart, are stacked on top of each other. And that's the only thing that I don't like so much about it. But I'm generally really careful, so I don't think it'll be too much of a problem. But yeah, that's my only complaint about this specific packaging. I'm not sure how else they could have done it and kept it the same size. But it is what it is. So anyway, the Expendables 4 film 4K steelbook. This looked great. I loved it. What do we have next? I also picked up Event Horizon. I hadn't seen this movie before, and I don't know what I was expecting, but it wasn't what I was expecting. I don't know. I don't like to see Sam Neill as a bad guy. It just, it makes my heart hurt. But I did quite enjoy this. The effects do not hold up at all, but it looks pretty good. If you haven't seen Event Horizon, it's nothing that you need to run out and you don't need to write home about it. It's essentially the thing. But it is good for what it is. If you're into space and sci-fi, which I do enjoy. Like, I am a sucker for a space movie. So if you're a sucker for a space movie or an alien movie or a science fiction movie or all of the above, go ahead and pick up Event Horizon. I promise I'm not just throwing them into a crazy pile. Like, they're okay. And there's logic to my madness. I mean, some people wouldn't say that, but I do. So here we go. I also picked up the Indiana Jones in the Dial of Destiny steelbook. I don't know why, because up until, I should take it out of the thing, huh? It's glare? Okay. Because up until this movie came out, I thought Kingdom of the Crystal Skull was the worst thing they could do in the franchise. And then this movie proved me wrong. I'm not going to give away the ending. But at the end, Indiana Jones tries to do the most un-Indiana Jones thing possible. He tries to do something he knows he should not do. That he entirely knows better than to even try to do. And the whole rest of the movie was nonsense to begin with. But those last 10 minutes, man, I'm like, you guys have lost the plot. You don't even know who this character is anymore. Indy would never. Indy would never. So, if you haven't seen Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, go ahead, watch it on Disney Plus, but don't spend your money on it unless you collect the whole franchise, which I do, because I don't know, I always used to love Indiana Jones movies when I was a kid, and I used to watch them with my mom, and we had this giant Indiana Jones puzzle, and I don't know, like, Indiana Jones was just like a thing in my childhood. And so I was super excited when Kingdom of the Crystal Skull was coming out. And then I was like, oh, well, that was a letdown. But I thought that Dial of Destiny could redeem the franchise. And it just, talk about going out with a whimper. What can you do? What can you do? You can pretend it doesn't exist, which I do with a lot of movies. I also do that with Bad Boys 3. I pretend it doesn't exist. Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. I also picked up Contagion. I got the steelbook instead of the slipcover, just because I liked it a little bit more. I'm entirely convinced that somebody watched this movie and then decided to make it real life a few years ago, but past that, it was really good. There's not much that I can say without spoiling it. You guys know how a pandemic works by now, right? Okay, so if you're really interested in seeing this film, please go right ahead. I recommend it highly. I think everybody already watched it already. I think as soon as they said, you guys are quarantined, stay in the house, everybody turned on Contagion. So everybody's already seen it. But if you haven't seen it, go ahead and give it a watch. It is a great example of how the government might control us in a situation. I also picked up Carrie. I haven't watched this yet, and I've never seen it. I got this from Walmart the same day that I got the Expendables 4K. This was on clearance too. And I don't know, I think somebody was just walking around the like electronics and movie section and just marking things willy-nilly. And so they were, this was on clearance as well. And so I went ahead and I picked up the steelbook, but I haven't had a chance to watch this yet. And I actually have not seen the movie yet. And I actually don't know much about the movie. So I'm very interested in going ahead and giving this a watch. But I have so many things stacked up over here that I haven't had a chance to watch yet that this is probably going to have to wait for a little bit. But hopefully I get to it soon. I also picked up The Marvels. I got the steelbook because all of my other Marvel MCU films I collect on steelbook or in steelbook. I'm not sure which one that should be. But I went ahead and got the steelbook for this. It's a Walmart exclusive now that Best Buy no longer carries movies, which is kind of upsetting, but what can you do? We're all doing the best we can. So I went ahead and picked this up. And I know a lot of you did not enjoy the movie. I thought it was much better than Captain Marvel. It still wasn't fantastic, but it was much better than Captain Marvel. And it was enjoyable. It was, you know, people crap on things before they see them, just based on something that someone else might say or something. I encourage everybody to use your own mind. Like, except on Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. But on everything else, use your own mind. If you want to see a movie because it looks interesting to you, please, by all means, go watch it. I think this was a pretty good film. Is it, you know, it's not MCU gold. Maybe it's a bronze, but go ahead and give Captain Marvel a watch if you're interested. Especially if you keep up with the story and you just kind of skip this one based on everything that everybody else said. Please just use your own mind. Judge it for yourself. Judge everything for yourself, please. Next, I picked up the Lionsgate Red Steelbook, and it's got both films in here. I have not seen either one of these films yet, even though I am a very big Bruce Willis fan. I just never got around to it. So when I saw this, this came out a while ago, I think, like a couple of months ago, and I looked for it and looked for it and looked for it, and I couldn't find it, and so I was just like, forget it. But then the other day, it was just happened to be on the shelf. So I went ahead and I picked this up as well. I will give this a watch this weekend because I'm super excited about it. Yeah, I don't know anything about these movies other than they're named after a color. But past that, I don't know anything about these movies. I think, is Morgan Freeman in these? Yes, Morgan Freeman's in these too. So this is going to be a hoot. I hope these are a lot of fun. So the Red 2 Film Collector's Steelbook. What else? There was so much. I know we've already been here for a while now, but there's just so much. I also picked up Moon Knight because, again, I collect for the entire MCU, so I did get Moon Knight. I haven't had a chance to watch it yet. It's still in the plastic. I've got a lot of things backlogged, let me tell you. I have had a busy few months. Like, we'll sit down and we'll talk about it because, oh my goodness, if you only knew. But I am excited to give this a second watch. I did watch this already when it premiered on Disney Plus because, again, I watch everything that is MCU related, or at least I try to. There are a couple of things that I have missed. Just because now they're pumping out so much that it's hard to keep up. Like, it's hard to have a life and a job and friends and family and watch everything that Disney is trying to make me watch. So I only watch, I've watched most everything. I did happen to watch this though, and I am hopeful that there is a season 2. Because I did enjoy it. I thoroughly enjoyed it. So, next we have Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I did watch this as well when it premiered on Disney Plus, and I am going to hopefully be able to rewatch this before the new Captain America thingy comes out with Anthony Mackie. I'm still not entirely sure how I feel about it. Chris Evans was a perfect Captain America, but I guess we're moving on in the story now, so we'll see what we're doing. But I am hopefully going to give this I'm actually going to, you know what? I'm going to give this a watch tomorrow. I'm going to get started on it. It's not that many episodes. I think it's just like 6 or 7. So I should be able to breeze through these in a couple of days. So this is the Falcon and the Winter Soldier Steelbook. What else do I have? Let's see. I got Dune Part 2. Sorry. So I picked up the Dune Part 2 Steelbook as well. I have not opened this. I have not watched this copy, but I have seen the movie. I did see it in IMAX, and I am a little disappointed that there is no IMAX on here. So, I think they could have done it like... Personally, I think they could have done it the same way that they did it for Guardians of the Galaxy 3. Like, they could have done it like that, where they changed the aspect ratio, or the shot pans up and pans down while you're watching it, so that way you don't have to, show the whole thing in... I don't know. I am not a film technician person, but I think that there was something that they could have done that would have given us an IMAX feel at home, because I think this is just one of those movies where you definitely need that. And so it's a little disappointing that it doesn't have that. But all I can do is complain, right? I guess that's all I can do. All I can do is complain. I can also complain that the special features aren't actually on the disc. So, whatever. That's why I buy movies. For the special features. I love the special features. You don't like the special features? Gosh, how do you not like the special features? Alright, I also picked up Moon. Now, I said earlier that I really enjoy, space movies. This was great. This is about a Korean astronaut who is on his way to the moon. But things go wrong. Things go wrong when he's up there. Things go wrong on the way up there. Things go wrong when he gets there. Things go wrong when he tries to leave. If there is a person that things go wrong for, it's this guy. Everything goes wrong for him. But ultimately, some things do go right. So, if you liked Apollo 13, give The Moon a watch. If you don't mind subtitles, give The Moon a watch. I really enjoyed this. It looked fantastic. I was so glad that I picked up the Blu-ray. Initially, I picked up the DVD because it was all that they had at the store near me. And I was like, oh man, I really want to see this movie. I'll just get the DVD. And then the next day, Amazon had the Blu-ray on sale for cheaper than the DVD. So I was like, well, I'll just take the DVD back and get the Blu-ray. So I did that. It was a lot of time wasted. But I'm glad that I did because this movie looks really good. I wish it had gotten a 4K. Like, I know you're like, nobody cares about this movie. That's probably why it didn't get a 4K. But it's such a good movie that we should care about it. We should give it more of a chance. We should help build its audience by talking about it on this channel. So, if you haven't seen The Moon, please give it a watch. What else did I pick up? I picked up a lot of stuff lately. Let's see. I'm gonna move some of this stuff. I'm gonna move this little pile over here, and then move this right here. I picked up the Ring collection. You get all 3 films, and I have to admit, when I saw The Ring as a kid, it was the only horror movie that ever scared me. And so I was very hesitant. The box is so snug. I can't even get this out. Okay, so I'll just leave it in there. But I was there we go. I was super hesitant to pick up this movie because I hadn't really seen it or these movies, because I hadn't seen the first one since I was young, and it scared the bejesus out of me, and I didn't know whether to sleep with the TV on, to sleep with the TV off, to not sleep. It was so hard for me. I don't know why. And watching it now as an adult, I'm like, this is silly, but in a good way. And I feel silly for being as freaked out as I was by it. But you know what? Everybody has their thing, right? Everybody has their thing. And I think the reason the first one freaked me out so much is because there were a lot of things in it that I just was not comfortable with. Like, horses still to this day kind of freak me out a little bit. So I wasn't like the biggest fan of The Ring. It was the horses and it was so much. And so anyway, I'm glad that I picked up this box set because these movies look pretty good. The color looks much better than it did for The Ring 2 on Blu-ray. And then Rings I had seen recently when it came out, just because I'm like, I've seen the other 2, and I like Johnny Galecki. So I did see Rings when it came out. I say recently, but it was probably like 15 years ago or something. I don't know. But I did see that one when it came out as well. I rented it from Redbox, I think. I don't think I bought it. If I bought it, I can't find it. Which is... If you've seen my basement, you know why I can't find it. But... okay, I'm going to be serious. But this was good. The 4Ks are good. They look pretty good. They all look really good. I had no complaints. Nothing looked extra smoothed out or anything like that. The box is nice and rigid. Can't even get the things out of the box, so, you know, that always helps. Helps to not have things falling around. Things are pretty snug in there, so... If you were waiting to see that, or to see how the Ring collection box looked, I'm sure everybody else has shown it off by now. That's fine. I'm getting there. I'm getting there. I'm doing things at my own pace. Didn't your parents teach you that? Go at your own pace. So this was pretty good. If you can catch it on sale, that's even better. But I did get this the day that it came out because I was super excited about it. So you know what? I enjoyed it so much. Especially, I enjoyed watching these so much, especially the first one, that I might watch it again because I enjoyed not being entirely scared to death as I was when I saw this when I was a kid. Again, I don't know why. Everybody's got their thing, but it's just how things went. The next up, we have Burnt Offerings. This is a Kino Lorber. I picked this up during the sale as well. It's about a family who goes to, they're like taking care of a house during the summer or something like that. And there's an old lady who lives in one of the bedrooms. They got to keep an eye on her. And the mother just starts getting weird. Weird things start happening. The dad starts getting weird. Everybody starts getting weird. And it's kind of the house and the old lady who are manipulating things. And do they make it out alive? I don't know. You got to watch the film. And I'm not going to spoil it for you. Goodness. But this was pretty good. This was a blind buy for me. I hadn't heard much about it. I didn't know what the plot was or anything like that. But this one's good. It's an older movie. It's from 1976, so it's about 50 years old. Is it? Ooh, we are getting up there. But if you don't mind older movies, I think this was a good time. Like the 70s was a fantastic time for horror films. So if you want something that's not just like in your face scary, but more a subtle creep, definitely check out Burnt Offerings. Okay. I also picked up the Green Room Blu-ray. Now, I know they just put out the 4K, but this was $3 as opposed to whatever. So, and I had the slipcover still. So I chose to pick up the Blu-ray. And I figured if I liked it enough, then I would go ahead and pick up the 4K because, everybody said this movie was just super stellar, fantastic. It was okay. It was okay. I will keep it because I keep a lot of the A24s and I'm working on collecting all of the A24 horrors. So I will keep it. But it's not something I'm running out to watch again. I really enjoyed Anton Yelchin in this movie, though. Like, I hate that he's no longer with us, and we kind of got robbed, not on purpose, but universally robbed of, like, cosmically robbed of... He was going places. I really enjoyed him as an actor, and it just watching this movie, it hurt my heart a little bit to think about how we're not going to have any more Anton Yelchin movies, and yeah. So, but this was just okay to me. I think there were a lot of some holes that the plot could have filled in if they wanted to, but it was all right. It was all right. It's worth a watch. It was definitely worth my $3, especially with the slipcover. So. The next one we have is It Comes at Night. Now, this movie I saw initially in theaters a very long time ago when it first came out with my best friend, and at the end of the movie we booed and yelled that nothing ever came, which is partially true. Nothing ever shows up really at night. As I got older, I learned that what comes at night is not actually physical. It's not a person. It's not the boogeyman. It's not a bear. There's nothing in the woods. What comes at night is everyone's kind of paranoia. So, yeah, this is much better now that I understand what comes at night. When I was young and dumb, I did not know what was supposed to be coming at night, and I was very upset that nothing ever came, and I wanted my $7.25 back because that's how much a movie ticket was back then. It Comes at Night. We also have Dante's Inferno. Now, I was really glad to pick this up because I know it's sold out now. Everybody kind of hyped this movie up when they realized it came in like 3 different color restorations and all of that stuff. But I was really glad that I was able, I pre-ordered this like the very first moment it was available for pre-order because I had never seen it before, and I read a lot about the actual movie itself when I was in college. So I wanted to be able to see it for myself. And I'm not going to spoil the movie for you because I still haven't watched it yet. But I will go ahead and give this a watch soon. And also, I want to read some of the essays in here. I know Jeff Rossio from, I hope I said his last name right. Jeff Rossio from Films at Home has an essay in here, which is really exciting to me. I haven't read it yet, but I plan to, because I love watching his channel. I think he's doing good stuff over there. Like, I'm nothing, really, believe me. If you're going to watch anybody, watch him. I'm not just saying, like, turn my video off. I'm saying finish my video and then go watch him. What else did I pick up? Oh, okay. I have a few good ones. So I picked up, I was in a Korean horror movie phase. I don't know. Here's the thing. When I watch a movie, I'm easily distracted. As I'm sure you know from watching some of my other videos on the channel where I talk about how I had to start a movie like 3 times. But if I'm watching a movie with subtitles, I am locked in because I have to be. And so I have a lot of movies where I have to read the subtitles because it really keeps me focused and engaged. So Ganjam, Haunted Asylum, I think this is Korean. I want to be sure before I tell you the wrong thing. This is Korean. And this was great. I hadn't gotten like a spine tingle from a horror movie in so long. But there's a scene in here that really just sent the chills up my spine. And I'm not saying the movie is terrifying. I'm just saying that it is shot really well. It understands what is scary. And there's not a lot of nonsense in between. So if you're looking for a good horror movie and you don't mind reading subtitles, please, please, please take some time to watch Ganjam. It is about some young adults, I won't call them kids, some young adults who go to explore a haunted asylum and are filming it for their YouTube channel or something of that nature. And it is, I can't tell you much more than that because it'll spoil it. But this was a fantastic film. If you haven't seen it, please go watch it. It's on Prime. It's on Blu-ray. You can just, if you collect, please pick it up. If you don't, please watch it on Prime. It's great. Next up, Seoul Station. So I know this is like the prequel to Train to Busan, and you know, but sorry, I was having a moment. I had to think about whether or not I gave away my Train to Busan movie. Not because I didn't like it, but because my cousin hadn't seen it, and I was like, just take it. But I can't remember if he took it, so I'll worry about that later. So this one was called Seoul Station, and it's the prequel to Train to Busan, and I enjoyed this one. I didn't think that I would because it's bleh. It's animated, and so I didn't think that I would really enjoy this one as much as I did, but I absolutely did. I was sucked into this one from beginning to end. I think, personally for me, this was the best one in the series. The plot twist towards the end just had me. Oh my goodness. Like, I didn't see that coming. So, yeah, this one was definitely my favorite out of the entire trilogy, series, whatever you want to call it. And I would love it if we got more in this style. Like, if we got more of this story in this animation style, I would love it. I would definitely be here for it. I would be here if they did like a series. I enjoyed this so much. It was great. Uzumaki. So this was about a village that's essentially being attacked by spirals, and people are seeing spirals, and the spirals are making them a little crazy. And it's based on a manga, and the manga was much better. But they did a pretty good job with this one. It was not, I thought it would be a little more scary. But it was okay. I don't have any complaints about this one. I will keep it in the collection. But if you can, please go and read the actual manga, because yeah, it was much better. It was fantastic in comparison. So yeah, but if you have some time and you are interested in watching the film instead, yeah, this was good. The effects were pretty good for the, I won't say for the budget, but for the budget. So next up, we have Tales from the Hood 3. I said I would get this one. I promised you guys that I would get Tales from the Hood 3 after I got Tales from the Hood 2 and was super disappointed. So I did pick up Tales from the Hood 3, and I have to say this was absolutely better than the second one. Does it touch the first one? No way. The first one in the series is hands down the best one and could probably be the only one. But they made 2 more. So maybe they made a 4th one. I don't know. But this one, I did enjoy the stories told in this one a lot more than the stories told in the second one. So this is definitely a keep. And because this one, as the third one, is a keep, I will ultimately keep the second one. I was waiting and debating. If I liked this one, I would keep the second one. If I didn't like this one, I would get rid of the second and third and only keep the first. But I did enjoy this one, so I will keep all 3. And you know what? I'm kind of here for it now. Like, if they decide they want to make some more and continue on with this, I'm okay with that, as long as the stories hold up. So we have to, like, keep that trajectory going upward instead of dipping down so much like it did in the second one. So if you got some time and you haven't checked it out, check out Tales from the Hood 3. So this was a first time watch for me, which was really surprising. I have been trying to watch this movie for years. Like, I've been trying to buy this movie. I've been trying to stream this movie. I have been trying to rent this movie. I have been trying to borrow this movie. I have been trying to watch this movie for years. And every time it's like, curses, spoiled again. But finally was able to get a copy of Spell. And oh my goodness. Let me tell you. I didn't think I would enjoy it as much as I did. But I absolutely loved it. I loved it. I'm not a big Omari Hardwick fan, but yeah, this was great. This was great. It's about a man and his family who are in a plane crash. The man wakes up alone in some lady's attic, and that lady is Loretta Devine, and she plays a wonderful, wonderful kooky person. She's got the voice for it. You gotta love Loretta Devine. I do love her. But he comes to realize that the things she tells him are not exactly true. And he is intent from that point forward to escape the house and find his family. So check this one out if you haven't. It is a ride. It had me interested from beginning to end, on the edge of my seat. Well, I wasn't sitting. I was in bed watching this. So it had me sitting up, being like, oh, let me just sit up a little bit further. And ooh. But this was great. If you haven't seen Spell, please go ahead and check that out. Next, we have The Sadness. I had been hearing people talk about this movie and talk about this movie and talk about this movie, and I thought it would be about sadness, And it's not really. It's not really about sadness at all. It's about people in a village who have contracted some sort of strange disease. And the reason that it's called the sadness is because ultimately they are not very happy about what they're doing. They know that what they're doing is not a good thing, and that's why they cry before they commit the horribly heinous acts that they do. And that's why it's called the sadness. But this movie was a trip. It was a trip. It's a lot. There were some points, like, I'm fine with gore, but there was a scene where, like, flesh was falling into someone's mouth, and it was a lot for me. There were a lot of things in here that were a lot for me. Not to the point where I was like, oh, not to the point where I was like, I gotta turn it off or anything like that, but I was just like, you know what? Some of this is uncomfortable. So, if you have trouble with a lot of blood, guts, and gore, this is probably not the movie for you. If that type of stuff doesn't bother you, then this will be fine. Also, if you don't like the essay aspect of things, then this is probably not for you either, because there are some scenes of that in here. But as a whole, this was engaging. I have to say that. I can't poop on this movie. I can't at all. This was a good movie. It was just a lot. And I don't even know if it was a lot in a good way or a bad way. I'm still trying to figure it out. But it was engaging. It kept me hooked from beginning to end. The end, I didn't like it, but I'm not going to tell you about it because that'll just spoil the movie. But it was a good movie, and I am glad that I watched it. I just was expecting something else, and I guess that's my bad for assuming, because we shouldn't assume things based on the title. But they could have called this something like Everybody Gets a Disease and Tries to Kill You or something. I don't know. The Sadness was just a misleading title, but I'm glad. I thought this was going to be more like The Wailing. That's what I thought. And it wasn't. It's not at all. I don't know why I thought that. I think I'm done talking about this one now. I also picked up The River, which was a cute movie that I absolutely enjoyed, and is a great palate cleanser. It's about a very tiny little village who is stuck in a time loop, and I think it's like every 7 minutes or so, maybe it's shorter than that. Every few minutes, they loop back to, a few minutes ago. And they're fully aware that this is happening. And one of the workers at the hotel where this is happening thinks that she is the cause of it, but ultimately she is not. And that was a pleasant surprise, because I was a little disappointed when she said that she thought she was the one who did it. And I was disappointed as to why she did it. And I thought that was going to be the movie, and I was like, oh, that was boring. But it wasn't. I gotta tell you, it wasn't. She was very wrong. She didn't know what she was talking about. She just thought she was the cause, but she wasn't the cause at all. And that was a great plot twist that I didn't really see coming, and it made this movie all the more enjoyable. This is kind of just a feel-good movie where everybody comes together to save the day and get time back on track. And I like time travel movies, and this was a really, really cute one. So if you're interested, please go ahead and pick up a copy of The River. I don't have much else, I promise. We've been here a while, but I don't have a lot else. I recently got, within the last couple of days, I got Killer Clowns from Outer Space. I picked up the Steelbook. I hadn't seen this movie since I was a little kid. And I I was really glad to watch it again, but I also it also made me realize exactly how silly it was. But at the same time, I would totally be glad with like a whole entire like franchise of this. I feel like we are just dropping the ball by not having more Killer Clowns from Outer Space. So if you haven't seen Killer Clowns from Outer Space, the movie is exactly what it's called. Unlike The Sadness, which is not about anything like it's called. This movie, what it's called is what you get, and I'm grateful for that. So this is Killer Clowns from Outer Space. Okay, I got one more thing. There's a scene in here, and in 4K on a giant TV, you can see the clowns are coming out of the medicine cabinet, and you can see the holes in the back of the medicine cabinet that the clowns are coming out of. It was great. I don't know why I'm ruining it for you, but it was funny to me. I really enjoyed watching this again, especially as an adult. So yeah, if you haven't seen this in a long time, you're gonna be like, oh man, this is so cheesy but so good. All right. Next up, and these were just the Walmart Steelbook $5. So I picked up Belly out of the $5 bin, the 4K of Belly Steelbook. I was fortunate that my Walmart had some of these because I heard a lot of people didn't get them. So I was fortunate that I got a couple of them. So this is the Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard. Trying not to get the glare on that. Also, John Wick, or as my friend and I call him, John Walk. It's because we were talking about going to see the new John Wick movie, and I kept typing John Walk instead of John Wick. So now we just call him John Walk. That is Hunter Killer. I haven't seen this movie. I don't know anything about this movie. But it was in the $5 bin, and I'm intrigued to check it out. Robin Hood with Jamie Foxx. I haven't seen this in a long time. I think I saw it when it came out, and that was about it. I saw it in theaters, I think. And then I moved on. So I'm going to give this another watch. And then Rob Zombie's 3 from Hell. I gotta be honest, I'm not that interested in actually watching this one. I picked it up because it was $5. I might just pass it on before I even open it. You tell me. I don't know. Is it worth me watching? What is it about? Besides, I'm not going to assume what it's about because I did that with The Sadness and it was so wrong. So I'm not going to say that this is about 3 people from hell. So, you tell me what this is about and if it's worth my time. So those are the Walmart $5 steelbooks that I picked up. Man, I've got a bit of a mess here. And then the last thing I got was the Universal Classic Monsters collection. And this was an Amazon exclusive. I used to watch a lot of the Universal Classic Monster movies with my grandma when I was a little kid. And so Best Buy had the steelbooks, and I never got any of them. And then they put some of them on clearance, and I was like, well, maybe I'll pick up a couple of them. And then I was like, if I pick up some and then I don't pick up all of them, then it's just going to be a thing. So I was glad to get this, which has a bunch of them. Let's see how many. It has 8 of them in here. I haven't opened it yet. I haven't had the time. Again, I've been super busy, and it's been hard enough to just keep up with things that come in, for the most part. But this has Dracula, Frankenstein, the Mummy, the Invisible Man, the Bride of Frankenstein, the Wolf Man, Phantom of the Opera, and the Creature from the Black Lagoon. So hopefully, when I do open this, Maybe my grandma and I can watch a couple of these together, and yeah, that'd be fun. Like, we could watch a couple of these together and, you know, pretend I'm still like 5 and have some popcorn and Kool-Aid and have a good time. It'll be nice to hang out with her and watch something from she likes horror movies. She got me into horror movies when I was a little kid. And so it'll be nice to watch a few of these with her. So that is it. That is everything that I have picked up since the last time you and I spoke. I spoke to you. We communicated. Since the last time you saw me and I saw you, I didn't see you. That'd be weird. But this is everything that I've picked up since, you know, the last time that I checked in with you guys. And I'm it won't be so long this time. I know that for a fact. Things have settled down in the world and in my life, and I will be back to doing this semi-regularly. Hopefully you guys enjoyed seeing everything that I got. I always enjoy talking to you guys about it. I appreciate you bearing with me this whole entire time, because I know this has been a long video and I have rambled and I have babbled, but you know, sometimes I just want to give my actual thoughts. I don't want to, like, why script it, right? We're not going to do that. We're going off the cuff. What's his face said, well, F it, we'll do it live, right? So that's what we're doing. And I really, really, truly appreciate, as always, you guys watching, you all watching. I shouldn't say guys, that's kind of, you all watching. If you wouldn't mind, I am going to ask you a huge favor. If you've made it this far and you even kind of enjoyed what you saw, or even kind of enjoy me, can you please like and subscribe? It would really help me out. It would help me know that someone's listening. I promise. Someone's out there. It'll help me know that someone's out there and that I'm not just talking to myself, because sometimes I do that too. I try not to. That's why I'm talking to you now. So, like and subscribe, and thank you guys as always for watching.